This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. 10 criminal investigation and detection group personnel were relieved from their posts and put under police custody for allegedly extorting 18 million pesos from individuals they arrested in a raid at a warehouse in Tondo, Manila last February. Police investigation alleged that the CIDG Southern Metro Manila District Field Unit officers brought the raided warehouse's workers to their office in Taguig City, the law enforcement unit said in a statement on Thursday. Allegedly afterwards, the accused personnel demanded monetary consideration in exchange for their release, it added. In a press briefing on Thursday, Philippine National Police spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo detailed that the officers allegedly demanded 18 million pesos. Fajardo said, based on the victim's statements, they were able to give the amount demanded by the CIDG officers. The CIDG said the personnel were relieved, had their issued firearms and badges turned over, and taken to the PNP custodial facility after the unit received the police investigation report last Monday. The Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group recommended administrative cases against the accused officers for grave misconduct, conduct unbecoming of a police officer, and neglect of duty. According to the CIDG, the cases were recommended in relation to kidnapping and serious illegal detention, planting of evidence, and unlawful arrest, the CIDG added. According to Fajardo, the police officers involved included 4 sergeants, 3 patrolmen, 1 colonel, 1 corporal, and 1 major. Incumbent Benguet Vice Governor and now congressional candidate Erickson Felipe is facing a disqualification complaint for allegedly using government resources to aid his campaign. In a petition filed on the 2nd of May, private citizen Ralph Robin Tan accused Felipe for violation of Section 68 of the Omnibus Election Code, particularly on the use of government vehicle during his campaign. Tan claimed Felipe used a white vehicle bearing the marking for official use only, which was reportedly seen regularly parked in front of his Baguio City property. According to Tan, the label was intentionally concealed by a magnetic sign read in Good Governance Benguet, matching Felipe's campaign branding, suggesting deliberate misuse of government resources. The vehicle is allegedly registered to the Benguet provincial government, based on certification from the Provincial General Services Office. The petition further alleged that the license plate of the vehicle was switched at times. Tan urged the Commission on Elections to cancel Felipe's certificate of candidacy and declare votes cast for him as stray ballots. The Anti-Red Tape Authority will file cases this week against 131 local government units for failing to streamline and digitize government services, as mandated by the Ease of Doing Business law. In a press conference in Malacanang Tuesday, ARTA Director General Secretary Ernesto Perez said the LGUs had ignored legal obligations to implement an electronic business one-stop shop and failed to respond to government directives within the legally mandated period. Did you know that as early as the Salonga law, under the Code of Ethical Standards, if we fail to respond to a question, concern, or complaint within 15 working days, officials are already liable, Perez said. That will be our basis, not just the requirement under the law, but the responsibility of agency heads and mayors. We are not afraid to file charges because we have legal grounds, he added. Perez said 431 LGUs were earlier issued notices to explain, with 131 now set to face legal action before the Office of the Ombudsman. As the president said, there are no exemptions, he said. He added that streamlining and digitalizing government services remains a top priority of the Marcos administration, adding that data shows this approach reduces red tape and corruption. In connection with this push, the president recently declared May as Ease of Doing Business Month under Proclamation 818. Activities under the theme Red Tape to Red Carpet, Better Business Movement in Abagang Pilipinas have since begun nationwide, Perez said. Former Bacolod Mayor Luzviminda Valdez said she would file a motion for reconsideration after the Sandigan Bayan found her and a former staff member guilty on 7 counts of falsifying private documents related to altered cash slips for reimbursement. If the motion is denied, Valdez said she planned to elevate the case to the Supreme Court, insisting on her innocence. We believe the decision is inconsistent and confusing, and we are confident that a just outcome awaits at the Supreme Court where we intend to pursue our legal remedies, she said in a 2nd of May interview. The Anti-Graft Court's 6th Division, in a 114-page decision promulgated the 29th of April, found Valdez and Brendo Eligio, her former secretary, guilty of falsification in 7 cases but acquitted them in 2 others. Each conviction carries a penalty of 2 years and 4 months to 6 years in prison, plus a 5,000 pesos fine. The court acquitted Management and Audit Service Office Chief Ricardo de Hildahil Jr., former city accountant Eduardo Ravina, and clerk Lalaine Villalva, citing the prosecution's failure to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. All the accused were also acquitted of malversation of public funds under Article 217 of the Revised Penal Code due to insufficient evidence. Associate Justice Sarah Jean Fernandez, who penned the decision, said no civil liability was imposed, as the prosecution failed to prove that the Bacolod city government suffered damages. Valdez noted the original charges were for malversation through falsification of public documents, a serious offense punishable by 8 to 20 years in prison, but the charge was downgraded. The court's decision clearly states that no civil liability is imposed, as no damage to the Bacolod city government was proven, she said. Valdez questioned the court's reliance on the testimony of State Auditor Sheila Portal, who initiated the case. She pointed out that Portal never issued a notice of disallowance, a key due process requirement. I stepped down as mayor in July 2004, and she came from another city and began her audit in Bacolod in August 2004. Valdez said, this raises questions about the depth and fairness of the investigation. Valdez said the court gave her 2 options, serve a minimum 24-month sentence under probation or file an appeal. We reject the first option outright. Accepting probation would be tantamount to admitting guilt for a crime we were already acquitted of in substance. The court acknowledged that the documents in question caused no harm to the government or public interest, she said. A disqualification case was filed against Tuguegarao City Mayor re-electionist Malo Tink over alleged abuse of state resources. This was confirmed by Commission on Elections Chair George Erwin Garcia on Wednesday night. In a petition filed the 5th of May, Monday, Tink was accused of using government vehicles and employees in transporting campaign paraphernalia to and from campaign rally venues, using government resources in campaign activities, and using government-owned portable stage and campaign rallies, among other accusations. Wherefore, premises considered, it is most respectfully prayed for unto this honorable commission to disqualify respondent Mayla Rosario Esting, K as candidate for the position of City Mayor of Tuguegarao and therefore consider as stray all votes that she will garner in the 2025 national and local elections, the petition stated. Tink, in a Facebook post on Wednesday, noted that the petition was filed by Ronald Brillantes, who is the former city administrator of Jefferson Soriano, who is her mayoral opponent. She also said she has yet to receive the copy of the petition against her. We will answer whatever allegations are thrown against us and will not be distracted in our goal to win this election, she said in a statement. 2 police officers allegedly moonlighting as security escorts for Davao City Representative Paulo Jutet have been ordered dismissed by Philippine National Police Chief General Romel Mabel. Authorities probed Police Executive Master Sergeant Rexter Milano and Staff Sergeant Leonard Pamad for acting as Jutet's bodyguards without proper authority. Milano and Pamad should be kicked out of the PNP for dishonesty, Mabel said yesterday. That's perpetual disqualification from any government post. This is our warning to the police force. Make sure to take your job religiously, he told reporters at Camp Crame. Davao City Police Chief Colonel Hansel Miranton said Milano and Pamad were assigned with the Marilog and Pacoibato stations. Their immediate commanders should also be sanctioned, Mabel stressed. 11 officers and personnel of the Special Action Force were dismissed in November last year for providing illegal security escort services to a Chinese national in Muntinlupa, he recalled. Jutet is embroiled in controversy after an altercation with a businessman at a Davao bar last the 24th of February, an incident caught on closed-circuit television. Apart from Milano and Pamad, 2 Philippine Air Force personnel were also part of Jutet's security detail. Based on the footage, moonlighting is a serious offense in the PNP, Mabel maintained. Charges were filed against members of the Municipal Council in Dalaguit Town, Southern Cebu Province, charged before the Office of the Ombudsman for the Visayas on Wednesday, the 7th of May, were Vice Mayor William Lagahid and Councilors Ernesto Tangpas, Kevin Belandez, Felix Villacorta, Royce Nico Cessant, and Hilario Belsina, Association of Barangay Council President Elmer Licaris, and Sangguniang Kapitan President Danilo Sombilan Jr. They were charged for alleged violation of Republic Act No. 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, gross negligence, serious misconduct, and serious dishonesty. Jose Rene Moran and Braulio Moran, heirs of a lot owned by Maria Zambrano, filed the complaints. Joey Barinaga, counsel of the complainants, said his clients decided to file the charges after the municipal government built a warehouse on the nearly 4,000 square meter lot owned by Zambrano. The complainants accused the municipal government of failing to coordinate or inform them about the implementation of the project. Barinaga said the town constructed a warehouse on the lot even if the complainants had already written a letter to the mayor that they would not sell the property. The complainants said they were shocked when the warehouse was built on the 20th of July 24 for 8.1 million pesos. The complainants filed a separate complaint before the ombudsman against Dalaguit Mayor Ronald Alan Cessant. Barinaga said that on the 10th of March, 2025, the Sangguniang Bayan included in their order of business the release of funds for the purchase of the lot. The complainants said they immediately wrote a letter to the Sangguniang Bayan stating that they have no intention to sell their lot. On the 28th of April, 2025, the council approved the release of the fund, but an ordinance did not mention the amount that would be released for the purchase of the lot. They still approved it if they had received a letter from the heirs of Maria Zambrano that they would not sell the property, Barinaga said. Barinaga asserted that it was irregular for the council to order the release of funds without first identifying its amount. Respondents have yet to comment on the issue. Cessant has described these complaints as political noise. However, all those are still evaluated at the ombudsman. We submitted replies and I understand all agencies were able to comply, Cessant said. A complaint has been filed against a local candidate in Batangas province over alleged abuse of state resources before the Commission on Elections. In his complaint, Rani Abu alleged that Batangas Representative Jinky Beatrix Luistro, who is seeking re-election, was present during the distributions of assistance to individuals in crisis situation in several campaign activities in the province. On two separate occasions during the official campaign period and in the course of scheduled campaign activities, Jinky Beatrix Luistro, a candidate for public office, made public appearances during the distribution of the government financial assistance, AICS. Abu said Luistro's campaign events were designed to coincide with these payouts, where she not only delivered speeches to convince people to vote for her, but also attributed the said distribution to herself. Abu said such acts fall under ASR as Luistro unduly influences public perception by making it appear that beneficiaries of the government program owe their receipt of aid to her. Luistro directly used her position and official power to induce, influence, and manipulate the voters and ultimately undermines the electoral system, which is detrimental to democratic governance, the complainant said. In a video posted on her Facebook page, Luistro dismissed the accusations against her as part of the massive demolition job of our opponents. Merjanis Digamo of Pamplona, Negros Oriental is facing a disqualification complaint before the Commission on Elections regarding her residency in Satan Town as she seeks the 3rd congressional district seat in the 12th of May polls. Her legal counsel, Andre Bontagam, told the media in an online interview on Wednesday that the disqualification case was lodged before the COMELEC at the end of April and is meant to discredit the mayor. It is just political propaganda to frustrate the people in the 3rd district, given the timing of the complaint filing, Tagam said. The mayor, who is the widow of the late Governor Roel Digamo, has completed the residency requirement of 1 year for her to qualify as a congressional candidate in the 3rd district, he added. He noted that the Digamo couple has a house in Barangay Banoan, Sayatan, where the late governor was buried, while also running their fishing business from the said town. On the 8th of May, 2024, the mayor transferred her registration as a voter in Sayatan Town. Tagum said they have not yet received an official copy of the complaint from the COMELEC but were informed through email about it. He said they also do not know the identity of the complainant. Meanwhile, the Commission on Elections here said it has not received a copy of the complaint. COMELEC Negros Island Region Director Lionel Marco Castellano said disqualification cases are directly filed with their central office. In the event a candidate wins in the elections but has a pending disqualification case, the usual procedure is for the COMELEC to order a suspension of proclamation until the case has been resolved with finality, he added. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.